It's Meg at Chasing Retro. Today is Thrifty Thursday, and this is an open collaboration hosted by Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming. If you would like to join in, you can head to her channel and link your video to her list or ask her to add you, and then use the hashtag Thrifty Thursday. So I have a couple of stops to show you today, or things that I got from a couple of stops rather. Last weekend or last week before graduation and all of that, which all of that went really well, and we're excited that it's behind us, but very excited for our son's accomplishment and what's ahead for him. But before that, a couple days before, we were just kind of stir crazy, and so we decided to hit the road and go venture off in nearby towns within an hour of us and go to some antique shops. And we went to an antique shop and we went to a library book sale. And so at the antique shop, I only found one item, but it's quite the treasure. So I got 3 telephone books from the late 1960s. And I mainly got it for the ads, honestly, but it's still pretty cool to just sort of look back in time and see what it was like to call people long distance and how few area codes we used to have back then. But yeah, we have all of these pages will be just good for collaging and background, but the ads are so fun. The fonts are fun. The little illustrations are cute. Let's see here. We've got barber shops. I love the beauty salon page. Isn't that fun? And then, yeah, it's just fun. I love it. Look at the little farm. So all 3 of these were $3 total, and I considered that a steal. I'm excited about these. It'll be hard to choose back or front on which ones I'm going to use for journaling cards and tags, but I have 3 of them, so I won't feel so bad about cutting them up and using them. But it's just I'm so thankful that someone decided not to clean these out. I remember when we used to get phone books, as soon as we got a new one, I would the same day throw our other one in the trash, and this person didn't do that, so very thankful. At the library book sale, they had a table at the front that said free. And so I got this little treasure in that box. And it's just a hardback Get Well Mary Englebright gift book. Adorable little images. That was free. And then they had a box called Much Loved. I think it was said something like Much Loved, Very Worn storybooks, 50 cents each. And so this is the selection that I picked up from that. Most of these are the Whitman Telltale, and they're right, they are much loved. Most of them have tape, you know, the covers falling off. There's a little bit of writing, not too bad. It's mostly just these books were handled and probably toted everywhere with a little child. But I'd never seen some of these. So this one's called Chitter Chatter. And it does not have, oh yeah, it does, 1948. And it's just precious. I mean, I haven't met a Telltale book that I have not liked. So these pages are taped, but I think that makes them more beautiful. They're kind of stuck together, but not too bad. So that was the first Telltale. This one, Frankie the Fuzzy Goat, I think he used to be flocked because you can see some residue still on him, but obviously he's lost most of his fluff. A Fuzzy Wuzzy book. Oh, okay, he's got some inside. Isn't that neat? I did not even see that. I don't know if it's every page or just the last page. Okay, he's fuzzy here. He's fuzzy here. Good. We still have some flocking on Frankie, excuse me. Isn't that so cute? This was probably the one in the best shape of all of them. Jasper Giraffe. Carol, you see this, right? You know what this is going to become. This will be my giraffe journal, I guess, because I was waiting for the perfect cover. This is it. Of course, I don't know how I'm going to fit some of the images in this because a lot of the giraffe images, his neck will have to go up and around a page. But yeah, so cute. I love it. It's like a tropical, got a little parrot or toucan. I'm not sure what that is. So cute. I think most of these are late 1940s. Yeah, 1949. Timothy's shoes. Look at their little shining eyes. Even this little guy. He must have gotten some new shoes that he's very proud of. Timothy Tim. 1956, I think. That's so cute. These pages are much more dark. Maybe this book is older than 56. I might have read that wrong. But it's it is really in great shape. Bunny Button. I have seen this one before, but I've never owned this one. It's just so cute though. And this one's got a chunk ripped out, but you know, I could add the standard thing that we add when we make a new spine and then maybe add some yo-yos or something to cover that up. 1953. This looks like, oh, Bernice Myers. It looks almost like Richard Scarry's illustrations, but it's not. This one has a little bit of crayon, but not bad. Thankfully, the child used green, so it's kind of hard to see it. This one's called Guess What? And it's a Wonder Book with washable cover. And the images in here are just so delightful. There's a cat on top of that snowman. Didn't know that was possible. In 1953. But yeah, the images are just so cute. Simple colors, but just adorable. The Little Duck Who Likes the Rain, and he has Well, I think at one time his eyes moved around, but they don't anymore. A Bonnie Blinky book. The Bonnie books. This must have been sort of a, I don't know anything about these. It's very much a Little Golden Book competitor by the Samuel Lowe Company, Kenosha, Wisconsin. So, this is where the eyes are. And that's so sweet. Look at that little duck. I love the illustration style on here. Lots of yellow. That's interesting. The illustrator put his name on a lot of the images. That's neat. And then this one, I couldn't believe this was in there, probably just because it looked like it had a rubber band across it that deteriorated, and it stuck pretty bad. I did not pull this part off. It was already like this, but there was a little bit more right here, and I was able to get most of it off with a baby wipe and scraping. But I probably won't mess with it anymore. I don't want to further destroy the cover, because otherwise this book is in great shape for its age. And this would be a very early one, 47. So the Little Golden Books that have the black and white images, you can tell they're much older. They alternate color with black and white. I don't love the story of Dumbo. It always makes me really sad, but I do love Dumbo. I mean, I love him. So I thought maybe this might be a fun circus journal, or just like a carnival themed journal. Everybody seems to be doing those right now, I guess because summer's here. And I just love the red, white, blue, and yellow that are in them. Okay, I got two Bobbsey Twins books. These were not in the much loved. These are just on the regular vintage cart. So they have vintage carts, and then they had two rooms full of books that were, some of them were vintage, but none of the other ones were this old as on the vintage cart. I already have one of these. No, maybe I don't. I already have one of these. So now I have two, which is cool because when I get two just alike, it sort of gives me freedom and license to make one to sell and keep one, because I grew up reading the Bobbsey Twins. I love them. I thought they were adorable and precious. Their descriptions of food, because their mom always packed a picnic for them when they went on the road, it always made me hungry. I just love the way the author describes stuff. But this will be Christmas 1967. And this person had a book stamp, or like a labeler. 1954. So yes, this will be a summer/beach themed journal, and this one too. I may not make all of these this year. I'll probably save some for next summer, but I think these were $1 each. Which, if y'all know Bobbsey Twins, that's a pretty good price. Y'all, they had so many Reader's Digest. It was all I could do not to just fill the back of my car. But I told myself I was only allowed to pick one. And I picked this beautiful green one because I thought it would make a beautiful Green Gables journal. Or originally I was going to do a strawberry journal in a hardcover, but I have since decided not to do that. I'll show you at the end the progress on the strawberry journals. But yeah, I think this is lovely, and I have not seen this pattern before, so I grabbed it. Also at the book sale, they had this book. I have seen this everywhere. I don't think I had it as a kid. Maybe I did, but I feel like I see it everywhere, but I've never picked it up. It was $3, and it says 73, but the pictures are much older than that. But it's just this beautiful, almost colored pencil type drawings. And, you know, a lot of the pictures of children, yes, but also a lot of pictures of house and home, you know, for the homemaker's journal or housewife's journal or house and home journal that I want to make. Just cute, and it's in great shape. And then for the Jewish journal that I am sourcing for, and it'll take me a while to find everything that I need for it, but They did have several Jewish books for children. Most of them were new and had actual photographs, and the photographs weren't great. They were kind of almost like they used too much flash, and so a lot of the color was kind of washed out, so I chose not to get those. But I did find this one, A Child's Introduction to Torah, and it is a hardback vintage, let's see what year, 1972, and it's published by the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. But the pictures in it, of course, I've got really cool elements that I can use, you know, Hebrew and scroll, but the pictures are just beautiful too, and I could use the pictures in other journals as well. Days of Creation, and lots of this brown and tan real sketchy illustrations. I love that. So yeah, I thought this was a treasure. I will be reading this first before I make it into a journal. I think this might be a journal. Just, it's big, and it's bigger than I normally like to do, but it's just, it lends itself so beautifully to a cover because of its simplicity and the fact that it's indented enough that the fabric won't interrupt the title, and it's just beautiful. Light blue, very dirty. I cleaned it as much as I could, but I say dirty, that's just aged. Maybe there's some dirt too, but corners are scuffed, but I just love it. And then the last book I'll show you from the book sale, this is I See I'm Making a Shadow. Hold on. I've got my tall desk lamp in the corner. This was a book I seriously have had on my eBay search for probably 6 months. And the first time I ever heard about it was through Studio Lou, if you ever watch her channel. She is Canadian, and this is evidently a Canadian book, and it was very popular with Canadian school children back in the 70s and 80s. Well, I didn't grow up in Canada, so I'd never heard of it, and I don't remember ever seeing it in our schools, but it's a music book. And though I'd love to find one with the original cover, I found the library binding, which is pretty still, but it is called Sally Go Round the Sun. And when I show you all the illustrations, you're gonna be like, oh, it's just very retro. Let's see, isn't that beautiful? It is printed in Italy, 1969. So a lot of monochromatic, but also, look at this. I don't know what kind of art this would be. Almost like some sort of stamping or wood block or something. It's just so interesting, and it would be a beautiful page, like a backdrop of a page, but it's just beautiful. I mean, it is so rich. You can't print something that looks like this at home. Like, it's just beautiful. So yeah, I literally kind of stood there for a while and just stared at it, and I was like, I know I'm not seeing that book on that shelf. I know I am not seeing that book, because it's very rare for me to have such a book that I want that badly that is so obscure, and very unlikely that I would ever find it where I live. But yeah, this was one of them. Very excited about that. Okay, and then today, at the beginning of the video, you probably saw some video. I went to one of my favorite thrift shops, and my daughter went with me, and she recorded a little bit of video to show y'all what it's like in our tiny, tiny little church-run thrift shop. So I was excited to find a few treasures there today. You might have seen some of these in the video, I don't know. This beautiful purple doily. It's very large. You know, it'd be for the center of a dining table, but I will be cutting it up and using pieces of it in baby journals or spring journals, anything that needs something lilac and white. Very pretty though. Everything was half price there today. They run a big sale every summer in June, so like this was 25 cents, but it was 12.5 cents. So yeah, how can you leave that there, right? Okay, this was $1. Now, I don't have a first name or last name that starts with P, but these are probably from a wedding, but they are just the thick, beautifully embossed paper coasters, and they're lovely. It's like an illuminated letter. If you have a last name or a first name that starts with P and you would like to have some of these, let me know. I may just send you some, or I might put a few in my shop, but they're just, I mean, I've got like probably 100 in here, more than I'll ever use in journals. But I thought they would be neat in an eclectic journal or a princess journal or something that, you know, would lend to that style of lettering. This, they had some remnants of trim. Most of it was like rope trim, and I really don't know what to do with that for junk journaling, but this was a beautiful fringe trim that I thought looked so beautiful for like a forest, woodland, fairy, you know, that kind of journal. And it's very thick, like it would need to be on a substantial size journal, because it's not a trim and dainty, a small and dainty trim by any means. I don't know why there's a red thread through that. That's kind of odd, but maybe it's the second, because this is falling out. But yeah, so this was $1, which meant it was 50 cents. And then I got 2 bags of floss. Most of it's DMC or J&P coats, which if you know anything about embroidery / cross stitch, finding this stuff in the stores, this brand is almost impossible now unless you go to like a specialty embroidery place. And because a lot of times at Michael's and places, they'll just have a generic brand and they'll have a bag of 100 different colors, but the quality is not as good. I've tried doing embroidery and cross stitch with the cheap brands, and it breaks. It either won't separate well into strands, or I'll be halfway through my project and it'll just break. So this stuff is the good stuff. I use it for junk journaling because I use it for slow stitching, and I also use it for the little bobbins. I wind it around the cardboard bobbins to put in my sewing journals. Then I found these beautiful seed beads in here. We have peach and off-white and this sort of a burnt umber color. So yeah, these bags were $1 each. Well, here's one of those things right here. It's a plastic one, but that's what I put in my sewing journals. Yep. Then I got a couple of bags of earrings. These are clip-ons. I use these as long as the spring is tight. I use them as sort of, this one needs to be tightened a little bit. I use these as, what am I trying to say? Almost like a paper clip or just a binder clip on a journal to hold something onto a page. They're very thick, obviously, so you don't want to put it in the middle of a journal, but for the very first page where you have that little bit of buffer between the first page and the cover, these can be quite the statement piece when you first open it up. And these look like crystals. I don't think they're glass. Maybe they are, they're cold. But I just thought they were lovely. And then these are very vintage and retro. These look like something my grandma would have worn. Some white rectangles with some pastel colored gemstones, and they're in great shape. And these are the screwbacks, which you can also use in a journal. It's just a little more awkward, but you can. Or you can completely take them off and use them, you know, adhere them to a cover or a cluster of some sort. But let me know what y'all's uses for vintage jewelry is, other than just the, you know, the usual pin a brooch on the front. of a journal. Okay, so I went in the baby room, which is one of my favorite rooms in the whole store, and I couldn't pass this up. This is a little Carter's romper. I love baby rompers. I dressed my little girl in rompers, and my little sister wore them almost religiously. It was like what she mainly wore. Remember when they had ruffles on the back of them? But I thought this would be fun to cut these flowers out for tropical journals, and also we have a parakeet. My daughter loves anything parakeets, and so I was like, well, I'll just cut some of this stuff out, and if you ever decide you want a parakeet journal or sketchbook, I can make you one. And I just love the colors on it. It looks very retro and vintage. And last but not least, this is certainly not exciting, is just one of these accordion files. So these are always just great to have. They're not cheap in stores, so if I see one for, you know, $1, I grab it. Also today I received some happy mail from Cindy, who is a viewer, a longtime viewer, and she told me that she was sending me some strawberry themed items. So thank you, Cindy. And I cut this. She had a little die cut sticker vinyl on the outside of the shipping envelope, so I cut this out to save it. So I wasn't going to throw that away. I'll use that. And let's see what else she sent. Okay, we have a letter. I won't show that. Okay, she just got back from, oh no, I just dropped something. Hold on. She just got back from a little trip, and she saw some fabric in an antique store she thought I would like. And then she said she thinks I might have picked up a scrap of this fabric because she saw it on the video. That's funny. Okay. Yay, thank you, Cindy. How fun. And I was just thinking yesterday, I wish I had one of these envelopes because I want to try to make a journal cover out of it. So yay, I have that too. Look at these little flowers, little roses. And this is adorable. This does look a lot like, I think the one I have has blue on it. Let's see. It's very similar. It might be like from the same fabric maker. I don't know. But yeah, it has that same rickrack. That's crazy. Yeah, I was thinking the one I had blue on it, but this one really matches the journals I'm making really well. Because I'm mainly doing red, pink, white, and green. And then, oh, look at this rain picture. So cute. And we've got some pineapple, yay, for my Hawaiian. And then, hi ho, says Anthony Rowley. That is adorable. Beautiful. Oh, look at this little fish. Oh, this is cool. This reminds me of the little bathroom, the little fish that you would see, the vintage fish that you would put on the bathroom walls. I love that look. Here is an outboard motor. This is beautiful. I love those boats with the wood, the stained wood. Oh yeah, she found it. She said she thought she had an umbrella image, but she misplaced it. So here it is, yay. Hey, Mittens. My cat's just over here talking. Strawberry, beautiful. And some apple stickers. I love those, Mrs. Grossman's. And this is cute. Adorable. Ooh, look at this. Holographic. That is fun. That is so fun. That looks like something you'd see on a Barbie dress in the 80s. Oh, here's some giraffes to go in my giraffe, Jasper the Giraffe book. Strawberries on a stick. And 2 postalettes. Oh, thank you so much, Cindy, for this little happy mail. I am so excited I will be putting this right into my strawberry pile, which is behind me. So let me show y'all before I go. the progress on the covers. I've only done the covers, and I've gathered papers, like pages. That's all I've done so far. The first one is here. This has not been glued on yet because I don't like to glue everything down on the cover until I'm done with the whole book, just because I just never know how my ideas and my decisions will change as I create the book. But I did this. This is not slow stitching. This is just stitched like a piecing of several fabrics together, including this vintage pillowcase that Mardell sent me last week. And then I sewed these little buttons on. And this one will go right here on this 70s polyester fabric that I got from my husband's cousin's mother-in-law. I think that's where I got this. Beautiful 70s polyester. I bet it was made into pants at some points. That makes it even cooler. And I used an olive green ribbon, also from Mardell, because the inside I used that pillowcase to make the pocket, and it was just the perfect color for that. So that's number one. The second one is sort of I don't know. I keep going back and forth on the cover of this one. I use this tiny Cranston Printworks quilting fabric. I think it's from the 80s. And I put in some Kelly green satin. And then the inside is a gingham broadcloth, and then a lace pocket sewn in. Love all that. I really want to use these. This is from a vintage napkin, and I cut around it and then put it on red fabric and then sewed and then cut around it again. So because of the fact that it was a napkin, the strawberries got cut off. So I was thinking about maybe attaching it here and wrapping it around. The thing I don't like about it is that this is a very teal green blue and this is not. Now that might just be me. Most people probably wouldn't care. But to me, I'm just like, it doesn't gel. So I really, my husband thinks it looks great and I should use it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll add some more other elements, maybe some buttons with this color green. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me know, like, if this was your project. Do you like this? Do you think I should look for something else? Should I cut differently? Well, it's kind of too late now, but I could alter it so that instead of going at the top like that, I could do something spilling downward, although there's no, I cut it as close as I could without cutting anything off too bad. I don't know. As y'all can see, I just want y'all to know that when I do things, much of the time I doubt everything that I'm doing and second guess myself and, you know, lay awake at night and think of alternatives to what I've already done. This will be the one that I keep, and I will probably definitely make some more strawberry shortcake journals in the future. But this time I decided just to do a set of 3. They'll all be the same inside, but this one will be strawberry shortcake on the outside. This is from some fabric I got from Mardell, this and this, actually all 3 of them. And I just did a piecing. And then this is a strawberry shortcake bed skirt from the 80s. The reason why I'm keeping this one is because the strawberries are upside down because I glued or sewed this piece in upside down. So that does not bother me one bit, but I do not want to sell one that I have made that kind of mistake on. So this will be mine, and then if I decide to do more, I've got bukus of this left and many more of these. So I will definitely be doing more of the strawberry shortcake journals in the future if that's something that any of y'all are interested in. If you grew up with her like I did, she's a big deal. She was my BFF, and I had nightgowns, shampoos, hairbrushes, everything strawberry shortcake. So yeah, I'm excited about this, but that's all I wanted to share with y'all today. Again, check out Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming for more Thrifty Thursday, and to figure out how to participate is really easy. So we'd love to have you. It's really fun to see what everybody finds every week. I hope all of you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.